TNA Wrestling is literally about to cross the line and lock us down in Town. But on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast, we're getting elegance. Not talking about me, of course. I'm talking about my guest at this time. It is Mr. Elegance himself. How are you doing, sir?
Great, man. How are you?
I'm good. As I just said, in the UK, we're going through a heat wave, and when it's hot in the UK, it's bad. So we're not melting, but we're okay. But
Oh, really?
we're looking forward to lockdown. Thanks for coming on to talk to us about it. But look, at the start of the year, these videos, the Elegance brand, they were looking for Mr. Elegance. I didn't get my interview done in time, unfortunately. Maybe you might have had a bit more competition. But look, you won it. You got through. How has that 6 months been with you now as kind of like an Elegance brand member?
I feel like since the very beginning, it was just a place that I belonged, right? So when you look at me and everything that I bring to the table with the physique, the intelligence, all of that, I really do believe that I was born and bred for the Elegance brand as Mr. Elegance. And I think it was just a perfect fit. And I think all that I bring to the table just really does prove that.
It certainly does. I mean, you fit the brand very, very well. But what is the dynamic like? You've got three incredible knockouts. You've got the personal concierge with you there. What is that dynamic like within the Elegance brand?
I think everyone brings their own value and insight to the table. You've got your Iceman, who's intellectual, he's a genius, he's got the smarts and the brains that he brings to the table behind the scenes, on the screen, all of that. You've got Ash, who's been around the world and she's very experienced. You've got the two girls who have been tag team champions twice now and soon to be three times. I feel like everyone brings their own value and their own credibility to the table. And I think we all bring a cohesive elegance to the Elegance brand.
You bring elegance in different ways as well, which is what you need. And that's what we'll talk about the girls and championships in a minute because there's more to it than just the tag titles, which we'll get to. But I want to go back, if we may, to Slammiversary with you. Now you competed in your first Ultimate X match that I've ever seen you in. A two-part question here for this. Number one, there was a point of that Ultimate X where you literally scoured it. You were going across it. You looked like you was doing a celebration. You went to grab the title. You fell down into a super kick by Casey Navarro. Number one, what was that bit felt like? And number two, and this is more of an interesting question for me, how hot and slippery do those wires get during that match?
Well, when you're as strong as me, you really don't slip. So for the average person, yeah, they were probably pretty slippery. For me, on the other hand, no big deal. Pretty strong guy. Yeah, I was able to handle that. But no, I mean, everyone got a really good picture out of that. I mean, if you were there, you would have taken a picture, probably hung it up on your wall. Man, that must have been a beautiful sight to just kind of see me climb up there and do my doggy paddle. But yeah, I mean, for the average person, probably it was pretty slippery. Probably would have fell. Probably wouldn't have even gotten up there due to lack of confidence or strength or all the above. But yeah, for me, no big deal. Me, no big deal.
Now, before that, you had a victory over the Knockouts champion at that point, which was Lei Ying Lee. My question, though, is you've had that Ultimate X opportunity, but when is Mr. Elegance going to take an opportunity and maybe go for that international title or maybe a rematch for that championship or even challenge Mr. Nemeth for his world championship?
Sooner rather than later. Mr. Elegance realizes that he's been successful in every single endeavor that he's ever been a part of in his entire life, and gold is just a matter of time. So, when it comes to me and consulting with the personal concierge and the brand and everything else, it really just comes down to picking our spot, optimizing it, and going forward with our plan. I'm not going to disclose what it is specifically at this point in time, but Mr. Elegance will have gold around his waist very soon.
That would be an interesting time to see and which one that you guys choose to go for. But let's talk lockdown now, of course. A bit of a thing. I was at the last lockdown, TNA done, because it was in over here in London, in the UK. Just again, a two-part question, if you don't mind. Number one, how excited are you about TNA bringing back the lockdown cage? And number two, how much of a challenge is it going to be for the competitors in there to make every match a bit fresh? Because every match is going to be in this structure. Yes, there is some stipulations that is going to make matches feel a bit different. But how much of a challenge would it be to have the whole show, every match feel different in a way for the fans?
Well, you really have your own stories that write themselves. So you lock different people in a cage and different things are going to happen, right? So if you look at the Nemeths and the Hardys, right, you've got
Mhm.
brothers, right? Not a lot of times people look at the Hardys as the brother tag team, but they're going up against another blood bond and Ryan and Nick. So you have that dynamic, which could turn into a brotherly feud, not amongst each other, maybe,
Mhm.
but against other brothers. So that could get pretty brutal, pretty vicious. You know, you've got AJ Francis and Elijah. Those two guys, you know, they've been going at it for a while. So there might be a lot of grit and aggression that goes into that. And then you've got the girls in the Elegance brand, Maggie and Heather, going up for the tag titles. And, you know, that's been something that's been taken away from them. So it kind of comes about in a way where what's the plan? Because things slip through the fingers in the past. So what do we do this time to make sure that that does not happen again? What do we do to make sure that we get those titles back around our waists? And I think that's the important part. So it could be a brotherly feud where it comes down to just protecting the family or winning the titles, or it could just be the end of a really gritty feud where it comes down to Elijah and AJ Francis, where they've been going at it for a long time, and this could be the bow on top. Or, you know, it could come down to Hotch and Ali, where those two guys were obviously close for a long time, but Hotch is looking for his opportunity now to really get to the heights of TNA on his own. So, what depths will he go to, or will he be a little too nice? I mean, those are questions that can be answered inside of the cage, but until you see it happen, see that all unfold, we won't know what's going to happen. So, to answer your question, each individual match has its own story and own presentation to tell based upon the people involved and the circumstances that bring it together. So that's really what I'm looking forward to seeing, is just how everybody kind of comes together and really puts the bow on all of these feuds, because really in essence when you lock people inside of a cage, that's what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night, and I think the Moose versus Kazarian is the one that's got the escape only, I believe. So there's
Yeah,
another change to it there where they can only
that's
get out, and that's what cage matches should be. I miss those days, by the way. Cage, you got to escape. That was the only way to win it back in the day. But it's going to be a great show with different, as you say, different feuds are going to end. I've got to
yeah.
ask this question because obviously the Elegance brand, they are going for those tag team championships now. At the moment, it's only the bunny that's here. Rosemary has gone missing. So it's now time for me to play detective, Mr. Elegance. Have you kidnapped Rosemary?
Why would I disclose that?
I don't know. For a scoop, for the channel.
Well, you know, what's going to happen here is everyone's going to see that the Elegance brand is more than just elegance. It's intelligence, it's smarts, it's brains, it's all the above. And really, what it comes down to here is everyone else is going to see the plan that we have in store. And are we all on the same page? Are we not? I don't know. But I know that each individual person in the brand has a plan right now. And it's up to us to come together and kind of figure out what that finalized plan is. But as far as where each person is or what's going on, I am not going to disclose that at this particular moment in time. But I will say that people that tune into TNA Impact every Thursday from 9 to 11 Eastern on AMC or Sportsnet 360 kind of sounds like a plug, but it's really not, because you might find out a little bit more about what's going on in that or at Lockdown itself. So stay tuned and stay watching, because there's a lot of things that might be going on that people aren't fully aware of quite yet, as far as where people are or what's happening.
Indeed. And to add to that, TNA Plus over here in the UK, get that app downloaded, get it subscribed at £9.99. Will give you every impact, will get you locked down, as well as Bound for Glory, all of the PLEs, and access to the archive so you can watch the TNA shows of yesteryear. But following on from that, Mr. Elegance, again, the two ladies in the group. You see, they could walk out of lockdown, or as you say, they will walk out of lockdown as tag team champions. But then there could be a bit of friendly competition between the two. The reason why I say that is Maggie this past week on Impact was successful, beating Indy
Yep.
Hartwell to get through to the finals of the Knockouts Television Championships. Now, she could be joined by Heather, assuming she beats Jada Stone this week on TNA. What
Yeah.
happens if these two are in the final? Do you have a plan? Is it the best woman wins? Has there even had a conversation yet in the brand?
I think right now, the way we're looking at this situation is the gold coming into the brand is the goal, right? So the gold coming into the brand, that's number one. How we get there and who gets it there, that question may be answered at a later point in time. And honestly, I'm not sure if I want to get involved in that scenario of who the favorite is or who the underlying favorites are between each individual member. But there might be a little bit of, I don't want to call it dissension, but everybody wants that spot. So it'll be really interesting to see kind of how I can help everyone get on the same page for lockdown, put that at the forefront, and then potentially see how I can get everyone on the same page to capitalize that gold as well. So it might be something that I have to put my nose into. It might not. It might sort itself out. It might not. But I do think that right now there might be a little bit of tension, and I do need to make sure that that doesn't happen or unfold at lockdown. I need to make sure that everyone's on the same page and we're focused on the current task at hand, and whatever happens, happens. But as long as the gold comes back or the gold comes into the brand, that's the goal.
That is the goal. And obviously, there is more to it than just that because it's not just they're going to be the television champion, it's the first. And there's a big thing because
Yeah,
you can have 20 reigns as a champion, but if you're the first, no one ever takes that away from you. So is that going to tune it up just a little bit more in terms of that dissension if they both get through because you're going to be the first ever TV champion?
yeah, and I think that adds to the stakes for everybody who's been involved in the tournament from the very beginning. I think it adds to the stakes for the fans too watching. It's like who will be the first? Who will be number one? There is no number. I mean, there is a number two, but there is no number two in terms of the record books. No one talks about the second person to be champion. It's always the first. So that does set the precedent, but it's also a responsibility that comes with it of what kind of value can you bring to it. And I do know that no matter what, there will be value as long as it's within the Elegance brand for sure.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to seeing that. We're seeing who gets through to that final. But TNA right now, and I felt this way for a little bit of time, really going through somewhat of like a youth movement, so to speak. Obviously, Leon's been in there doing great things. Casey Navarro, you mentioned Hodge, your good self, the two ladies who've been the Elegance brand at the minute. You're all just, it feels like you've got the ball and you guys are really taking it up and going up to two, three, or four levels. Is there genuine excitement within the young, not necessarily because the older ones ain't there, but is there generally excitement with the younger stars of TNA that we've got this ball now? We've now got to run and show that we can go into these main events and go and kill it for the fans that we're going to be a part of.
Absolutely. Yes. I do genuinely believe that TNA has that mentality where it's like we're going to cross the line, we're going to succeed, we're going to get the job done. And I think it's top down, I think it's everywhere in between. I think everyone's putting their best foot forward, and it's a really energetic, passionate group of people coming together to make sure that individual goals are fulfilled, but team and company and promotion goals are fulfilled. And I think lockdown will really showcase that. People putting their very best foot forward, putting it all on the line and seeing what stands out and who can stand out and who can rise to the top of TNA wrestling. And I do believe that each individual person is very excited about what they can bring to the table, especially within the youth of TNA as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's been exciting to watch as a fan, seeing, as I said, like yourselves, Casey Navarro, and people just really excel since these last few months. It's been really good to see from my point of view, anyway. But just as we start to wrap up now, Mr. Elegance, we've already kind of touched upon championships, but like, what would, if you could plan these next few months as we move into 2027, in an ideal world, what will happen to Mr. Elegance in that period of time?
Championship gold. I believe that that's the next step because I've been successful in every single thing I've ever done. And I know that gold is in my future. So I know that's something I'm going to take. And it's just a matter of who I take the gold from and when. But that time's coming, and before 2026 is over, Mr. Elegance will have gold. So mark my words, it's going to happen.
We look forward to that happening. But guys, lockdown, like I said, this Sunday from Chi-Town, just quickly run through the matches before we shoot off. You mentioned it, the brothers versus brothers. It's the Hardys versus the Nemeths, but it's for the TNA World Tag Team Championships, not Nick Nemeth Championship. Will the Nemeths come out champions or will the Hardys retain? We'll find out. Demon Bunny, potentially. We don't know. It could just be Bunny against the Elegance brand for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. Knockouts, as you mentioned, the Heather and Maggie looking to become 3-time tag team champions, knockouts tag champions. We'll see if that happens. AJ
Yep.
Francis and Elijah go head
Yep.
to head inside that cage, and well, it's been brewing for some time now. So this is kind of be the final now in those two in that scenario, perhaps. Jason Hotch, Mustafa Ali are going to put on another clinic after their match a couple of weeks ago for the International Championship. What is going to happen there with all the members of all the four will probably be there as well. So that's going to be an interesting one. Frankie
Yeah.
Kazarian and Moose in an escape from the cage match. Well, we've got the face versus the face of the franchise or the king at TNA. That one's going to be brilliant. And a match with also even higher stakes. Cedric Alexander, Leon Slater for the X Division Championship. If Leon Slater loses, his X Division reign is wiped from history books. That is a big one for Leon. And of course, the TNA Knockouts Championship is on the line. Zaya Brookside against Elena Black. Will Elena Black leave her hometown as champion? And finally, Lethal Lockdown. The system, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, Bear Bronson, and Alicia Edwards will face Ricky Sosa, Fabian Aichner, Casey Navarro, and Jada Stone. Wow, what a show that is going to be. Make sure you're watching it on TNA Plus
Absolutely.
over here in the UK. But Mr. Elegance, it's been awesome. Or it's been elegant, shall I say, talking to
You
you.
should.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Thank you for taking your time. We look forward to seeing potentially the Elegance brand with near enough all the knockouts gold and you winning some men's gold in 2026.
Absolutely. You got it. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elegance. And that is the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. And until next time, everybody, cross the line, stay safe, and goodbye.